lineup for tonight here?
We've got the exact same thing as last game.
Okay. Well, Zach Smith, any update on him? He skated yesterday.
Yeah, he'll like I said, he should be very hopeful for the first game when we come back.
Okay. Like Condon in goal.
Yeah.
All right.
Leon's fine, Coach?
Sorry?
Phaneuf?
Oh, no, he's fine. Yeah.
What do you expect from them?
Well, they're a big team. They're a team that has a good defensive structure, really good goaltending. If you give them some space on their zone entries, and you're missing guys on the back check, then you're in big trouble. And obviously, you gotta look for Waldo. I mean, it's you gotta find him anywhere on that ice, because anywhere he can shoot, he can score. So we're certainly aware of Ovi.
I was going to say Waldo wears number 8.
Yeah, Waldo wears number 8. Yeah, and he's kind of on every page. He's there. But it's obviously it's one of those guys. He's a game killer. So you want to make sure that at least you give yourselves a chance to not give him any freebies and free space, and hopefully we're able to do that. But they get their match up, and we have to manage that.
Sorry, you can't do anything about the schedule, but does this 5-day break come at a time where maybe you'd rather be playing than, because you just had the Christmas break?
You know what? It's wherever. I think that every team looks at their break and they can say something good or something bad about it. I think for me, it's just clear. This is the break. This is the break. That's it.
Coach, just back to Ovi, I'm just curious, you've been around for a while.
Yeah.
Would you say maybe the best pure goal scorer of his era? Can you think of anybody else?
I mean, you look at the stats. I mean, Stamkos has been injured in the last years. I've been fortunate enough to. He was in our division in Tampa, so we played those guys all the time, and we played them in the playoffs. So I've seen a lot of him. I'm not sure I want to see much more of him, but he's definitely one of those top-end guys that has been consistent in scoring and durable, really. I mean, when you look at his career, he doesn't miss much. And I think that's what makes him a consistent threat, is that, he doesn't get regular injuries, so therefore he's able to get those seasons what he can get to the scoring that he usually gets, and I think that's the durability, not just for scorers, but for any point getter. Makes a gigantic difference, obviously, in the points. So that's why, for me, is he the best? He's certainly one of the best, might be the best. But, when you look at Stamkos, I think he's also one of those guys. And obviously now you look at Crosby, and you look at the same thing again. Crosby's injuries have prevented him from having the consistency that he probably would have had, that he has now. And you look at the McDavids and those guys that are coming. I mean, there's some new kids on the block. So is he the best now? He's certainly one of the best, for sure. But, I mean, there's a lot of competition out there for those guys. But I think he's probably displayed the most consistency in terms of durability and number of games played and the scoring ability, for sure.
With that in mind, do you have a preferred defense pairing when he's on the ice?
Can we have 3 on? Yeah, you know what? We're going to try to match whatever we can, but obviously our top 4 has been playing against different guys, and we've been switching, and so whether it's Meth and Carlson, who's defended really well this year, I mean, that's a pair that has speed. So sometimes we look at other teams and we look, is it size, is it speed, is it shooting, is it stick handling, is it dangling, and then the other one is Dion and Cece, who are a bigger physical pair. So we usually, I won't tell you what we do against who, but that's the way we look at it, and whether we're home or on the road makes a difference also. So I think either of those pairs is going to be stuck with him tonight for sure.
Coach, you've got a negative goal differential, goals for, goals against. What does it say about a defenseman who's a plus 12 on your team? And if you can maybe describe Mark Mathott's game through the first half of this season.
Very simple, very consistent. From exhibition games to now. He's been so consistent in his role, and that's what I liked. He's we wanted to simplify his game, the way we play. It's a straightforward, defensive, hard, stepping and physical game, and that's why it's really suited him well. So it's taken a lot of the B and C options out of his game, which helps him. It makes it clear, and when he's got a clear mind, that player's really good. Like I love what Meth has been for us since day one. And I think that it's the way we play has suited him, so it's great. So there was less an adjustment for him than it was for some other guys.
Has he met expectations or exceeded?
Huge, big time,
okay.
big time. He's been one of our best players since day one, for sure. I mean, and you don't hear a lot about it because of the points and all that, but he's definitely been doing a great job. Backing up Eric when Eric takes off, but what I like is that pair has really become a great defensive pair, and we know Eric's outstanding offensively, but they're right now Eric is playing terrific defensively, so he's a two-way guy now. So I don't want people to tell me he's an offensive guy. He's a two-way defenseman now, clearly.
Coach, sometimes that's one of it evolve their game. So when you ask him to take away B and C, how receptive was he in the beginning?
Loved it because for him it's less pressure to do something that he's not great at. Every player, our job is to try to figure out what players are great at, and then they got to become experts at that. That's my approach, 80-20, and that's why I like to work 80% on the strengths and not the weaknesses. Because you get guys that are confident, you get guys in their chair, you get guys that feel great about themselves, feel great about coming to the rink. And, Methot, Borowicki, those guys have had really good seasons because it's very clear what their role is. And since we're very aggressive with our D, in straight lines, that's really helped those two guys tremendously.
Do you hope to have a better idea on MacArthur after the break? Is that...
Of course, MacArthur. I'm looking at him at practice. My goodness, what a good player. We've missed him since day one. It's huge. It's gigantic. Some people told me this summer, if he's out, then we're done. So then he was out right off the bat. So it was scary. We've been managing without him, but the reality is he. This league is so tough that you need your assets, and of course, whenever he'll be ready to play, he'll make a gigantic difference for us. He's a top six forward, plays PK, power play, plays against the best players, has unbelievable leadership, keeps people accountable. There's so much value into that player that, the day that we get him back is the day I'll probably dance of joy here. But it's in the meantime, it's got to take its time. We have to wait until he's ready and we get the okay, but we don't have it yet.
Do you know when he's going to have that?
No.
Okay. But it'll be done.
It won't be now. It won't be right after the break, that's for sure.
A lot of teams have been doing the optional skates or canceling the morning skates over the past couple of years. Your thoughts on the value of the morning skate anymore?
Very simple. I hate them with a passion. That's I remember Bob Gainey when I came in, Montreal organization, came down and he says, "You don't do morning skates?" I said, "Nope." He says, "Finally, somebody who gets it." So it really depends on what your opinion is. And those morning skates for me, they're, unless you haven't had a practice, unless, sometimes you've been on a plane ride longer, and then you need it. Then you need to get a fine. But we just practiced yesterday. The guys are gassed this year because of the compressed schedule, so we just get on for a few shots. It's just useless for me, it is. But some guys feel mentally they need to get on. Sometimes it's just a crutch too. So I hate those, to be honest with you, unless we need them. Then I want them. But to have a real practice the day of a game, it's already hard enough to have enough energy for those players to give everything they've got for 60 minutes that, you come in the morning and waste more energy on it. It's never been my opinion, but sometimes you do need them. But as we move along, you hope that you use the least possible.